2,000 years ago, when the Christian church was first formed, who was it that hated the Christians? Yes, you would be correct to assume the Jews hated them quite severely, but who was it that was used by Satan to actually kill the Christians en masse? Well, if you said the Romans, you would be 100% correct. They killed them in so many different ways it's hard to list them all. But most know about how the Romans fed the Christians to the lions as entertainment for the crowds in the Colosseum. Later, when pagan Rome fell, and directly in accordance with Christian prophecy, Papal Rome was given the political powers of pagan Rome by Satan to continue the killings of Christians. It was during the prophesied 1,260-year time period the prophet Daniel predicted that the Roman Catholic Church killed hundreds of millions of Christians. I'm, of course, speaking of the time span between the years 538 AD to 1798 AD, when the prophesied beast in Rome ran rampant across the land, killing innocent men, women, and children simply because they were Christians. It's hard to get an accurate number of how many were actually killed by the popes, but the numbers do range anywhere from 150 million to 500 million. I personally lean a tad more towards the 500 million mark because of what's happening today with the hundreds of thousands of martyred Christians each and every year. I will explain a little bit more on that later. So the inquisitions of the Roman Catholic Church are nothing new to the avid historian. In reality, it's no longer argued as fiction by many Vatican prelates of the not-so-distant past after Pope John Paul II admitted in his globally broadcast mea culpa in March of 2000 that the Roman Catholic Church did in fact kill those Christians. Anyone coming forth today to declare that prophetic and now historic fact to be a lie is seen as uneducated by both the Catholic and non-Catholic alike. In other words, it's now considered historic fact by all. That being said, are there any documented statements from the Vatican after 1798 AD that confirms they never did stop killing the Christians? Well, if you go to my Words of the Beast page, you'll see something pretty interesting here. On this page, I have a growing list of comments from the Vatican, as well as its many papal-approved prelates on all sorts of strange topics. But let's just skip right to the one wherein they hate the Christians for now. I'm just going to read a few of these. There's quite a few of them on here. The very first one here, and all these have the sources too, by the way, at the end. So this first one says, therefore the Pope ordered that malicious and abominable sect of malignants, if they refuse to abjure, to be crushed like venomous snakes. And that's, of course, speaking of the Christians. But here, scroll down to this one here from the Western Watchman in 1912. It says, on August 24th, 1527, Roman Catholics in France, by prearranged plan under Jesuit influence, murdered 70,000 Protestants within the space of 2 months. The Pope rejoiced when he heard the news of the successful outcome. And for some strange reason, they went ahead and posted that in their Western Watchman, which is a Catholic circular, in 1912. Okay, when you get down here, notice what it says here in 1908. On December 24th, this is clearly way after 1798. It says, the Catholic Church has persecuted. When she thinks it is good to use physical force, she will use it. Will the Catholic Church give bond that she will not persecute? Now listen to what they say here. They say that the Catholic Church gives no bonds for her good behavior. And then notice the next quote. It says, the Church may by divine right confiscate the property of heretics. And a heretic, by Catholic definition, is a non-Catholic. They still use that term today. In fact, Pope John Paul II used it quite often. But anyway, it says, the Church may by divine right confiscate the property of heretics, imprison their person, and condemn them to the flames. In our age, the right to inflict the severest penalties, even death, belongs to the Church. Which seems amazing because we know what the Scripture says about doing violence to no man. But yet the Church says that they can kill if they want. But anyway, there's quite a few quotes on this page. And when you get a chance, just, take a look at them. Now that I've shared a few of the Vatican comments, I would like for you to see another page on my website. So let's get to the top of this page here. And let's go to the RCC Exposed section and scroll down to where it says the Pope and Islam. On this page, I list numerous articles, videos, and other pages on my site, as well as other websites wherein it has become common knowledge to all that the popes of Rome have been specifically and quite openly working with Islam. hand in hand, for many years, in fact. Right there you see a picture of Yasser Arafat kissing the hand of Pope John Paul II, which is an open act of worship. Check out my act of worship video when you get a chance for confirmation on that. And by the way, just last week, the present Pope visited the nation of Turkey, wherein the leaders of that country greeted him as a long-lost friend. Now, seeing how Muslims openly declare their hatred of Christians to the tune of one dead Christian every 2 minutes of every day of the year for the last decade or so, one has to wonder why the Pope, who claims to be a Christian, survived that meeting with the Islamic leaders in Turkey. But then that's a whole nother video. As for the number killed by Rome during the Inquisition, if you do the math, you will see that 500 million dead Christians over the course of 1,260 years comes to about 396,000 dead each year, nearly 397,000 actually. It's like 396 and 800 and something dead each year. So Islam right now is killing 200,000 Christians every year. But as we know, the media is under government control in most nations, including the USA, and so the numbers they release and the actual number of dead is no doubt going to be much higher. But there's one more page on the website you need to see that touches on all this. It has to do with the rock-hard evidence that the Roman Catholic popes actually wrote the Quran of the present-day Islamic faith. And no, they didn't form the original Muslim faith. That was there since Ishmael came of age, who, by the way, was prophesied by the Lord himself to his own mother that he was going to be unable to get along with anybody. But anyway, if you go to the top, to the menu here, just go to RCC Exposed again and go down to where it says Pope wrote Quran. All right, now on this page, I, of course, highlight a video I posted 2 months ago right there in the middle that shows a recent Muslim convert who left the Islamic faith because of what he believed to be many Christian doctrines he found in the Quran. What he's unaware of is those doctrines are actually Roman Catholic in nature. They're not Christian. And I shared the facts and all that in the video. I also have on this page some links that you might want to take a look at that carry additional information confirming the Vatican wrote the Quran to create the Islamic religion of today so as to have an army of Christian killers at their disposal. The first link on this page was the only source of viable evidence we had for a few years exposing the Vatican-Islam connection. It's a PDF file of a testimony from an ex-Jesuit priest who was killed for leaking this information about the Vatican creating Islam years ago. You may also want to view the additional video links that touch on this, further locking down the fact that the Vatican is in fact using Islam today to kill Christians, just as Rome has always done. The simple reality here is that because Rome has been exposed as the Antichrist by so many students of prophecy lately, they started a campaign, a worldwide campaign, in fact, not too long ago, claiming Islam was the Antichrist so as to hide their prophesied activity out in the open. Because eventually the cat was going to be out of the bag. With all this activity of Christians being killed and all this evidence against the Vatican being in tune or in line with Islam, they had to make it look like Islam was the prophesied Antichrist. Well, I go into some detail about that as well. If you go to the RCC, no, I think it's in the prophecy section. Yeah, then you go down to false prophecies, and then false prophecy, and you go to Islamic Antichrist. All right? So if you do your homework, study the Christian Bible, and match the prophetic facts in Scripture with historic record, you can do as the prophecy said God's people will do right before Jesus gets here. It says in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3, that you will know who the man of sin is in these last days. Just as we now know the Vatican used the civil authorities during the Inquisitions to kill 500 million Christians, and we also have well-documented evidence they used Hitler in his day to kill the Jews, we now know they are using Islam right now to kill Christians all around the world. The fact the Pope, who claims to be a Christian, can freely step into a Turkish government complex and still be able to walk out unmolested, wherein a real Christian would be brutally beheaded, confirms the prophecy of old. The beast in Rome has always killed and will continue to kill Christians until the King of Christians puts an end to his hellish reign, and that day is very soon in coming. Thank you for watching. God bless.